What's up, guys? Welcome back again to your Heroclix headquarters. Today, because he is the new Captain America in the MCU, we're going to be counting down the top 5 Sam Wilson Captain Americas in Heroclix. So without further ado, let's get to the list. Alright, starting us off at number 5, we have Captain America from the Nick Fury Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. set. This was a super rare back in the day. He was pretty awesome. He's got just Avengers and S.H.I.E.L.D. keywords, and he's got this awesome trait that at the beginning of the game you can place 3 Pigeon Bystander tokens and 1 Red Wing Bystander token in your starting area. And we'll just take a quick look at those bystanders now. So you get 3 pigeons that are 0 points. Just have a 6 movement, flight, sidestep, tiny size, 14 defense, no attack or damage or range. And then you get Red Wing, who's also 0 points, but he's actually got 8 movement charge, 10 attack precision, 2 damage, 17 super senses, also flight and tiny size. So Red Wing was actually pretty nice. He could actually charge and get some damage in with the precision. The pigeons didn't really do much besides just kind of be fodder, for Mastermind or, whatever other kind of stuff. Maybe they could fly other tiny size characters around or something. But unless you built around them, they didn't serve a whole lot of purpose. But then taking a look back at his other powers here, he just has a special defense power that gives him energy shield deflection, invulnerability, super senses, and willpower, which is a lot of powers. Now this guy is coming in at a whopping 130 points. He does also have the Avengers team ability, which is better now than it was back then. So yeah, this guy's pretty good. He's got a really long reach with the 11 movement running shot and 7 range, and that 11 attack precision strike is pretty good. Later on, he clicks down into some flurry, toughness, and power, and then he just gets some charge and exploit. So even by today's standards, I would say this guy is still pretty solid. He's just a lot of points is really his biggest drawback. He is the most expensive version of the character we've gotten points-wise. So overall, we're already off to a good start, I think, being that this guy's my number 5, and like I said, really just the point value thing is the only thing slowing him down nowadays. So for all those reasons, that's why he's coming in at number 5. And next up at number 4, we have the new Captain America from the Black Panther set. Another super rare, another really cool sculpt on this guy. And honestly, being that this guy is so new, I would have liked to have put him higher on the list. And the thing is, he's not a bad figure at all. I personally just feel like, again, coming in at 100 points top dial is quite a bit, which he again does have Avengers team ability, Avengers, Heroes for Hire, Shield, and Soldier keywords, and this awesome trait that he gets leadership, and when he uses it and succeeds, this turn friendly characters that can use Avengers team ability also modify damage +1. That's really awesome. However, it's just really dependent on the leadership succeeding. Now, me personally, I don't have the greatest luck with leadership roles, so even though I have played this guy a couple times already, I don't think I've even managed to get that to go off a single time, because unfortunately, in this day and age, he's got 8 clicks, which is pretty good, but he doesn't have any crazy defense powers. Even the number 5 honestly had better defenses than this one does, just an 18 invuln, and he actually clicks down into some Earthbound Neutralized, which we really don't see a lot, but it's cool to see on flyers like this, because it's like, oh no, his wings are damaged or something, he can't fly anymore, right? That's pretty much what that power is meant to represent. But, it is a negative, so you'd think with 3 clicks of that negative and, honestly not great defense values for most of that, he would have maybe a lower point value. But he does also start the game with a Red Wing Bystander, and he has traded Perplex, and he can also give Red Wing Perplex. So as long as he's on the map still, Red Wing will also have Perplex. Taking a look at the back of his card here, we can see Red Wing has 8 movement, hypersonic, 12 attack, precision, 17 super senses, flight, tiny size, 1 damage with enhancement. So honestly, he does generate the best version of Red Wing we've ever had. And for that reason alone, I really wanted to put him higher on the list. I mean, you get 2 perplexes and an enhancement, and a hypersonic with 12 attack. like a little secondary attacker to go with him. And then on his attack power, he also gets energy shield deflection. And when he hits and the attack roll was doubles once per turn after resolutions, he may make a range attack, but only to target an opposing character within 5 squares of the original target, regardless of range and line of fire. So he does have a chance at kind of getting a shield ricochet, getting a second shot off, and that is awesome. But again, very dependent on hitting with doubles to actually get that to go off. So I think he just has so many awesome effects that are just tied to really random dice rolls. You know, you could have a game where this guy is just carrying, you know, hitting every leadership, getting you +1 damage for like every turn. Every time he attacks, he hits with doubles, and he's, ricocheting that shield, getting a second attack off every turn. Sure, that could definitely happen, and, maybe Red Wings popping off over there too. But then there's going to have, I think, probably a few more games where he just doesn't hit any of those, and it just feels like he's not pulling his weight for 100 points. And you could play him at 55. I don't really like him at 55 either, though, because he only has sidestep to start with. A little bit of range combat expert is nice, but only a 17 toughness. Again, just makes him too easy to take out. So again, I like him. I think he has a lot of potential. He's a really fun figure. He does come with a really amazing bystander to generate, and he can do some really awesome things once he starts popping off. But he's just a lot of points. He doesn't have the greatest defenses in the world, so he is pretty easy to take out. It also kind of sucks he came out in a set that has a lot of stealth, and he cannot see through stealth, so that might be part of it. A few games I played, he just could not really make many range attacks. There was so much stealth. So he could definitely use some tweaks, some improvements, maybe just a lower point value would help. So for all those reasons, he's coming in at number 4. Coming in at number 3 for me is the newer Captain America from the 2025 starter set. And honestly, this one has one of my all-time favorite sculpts for, Sam Cap ever. Maybe the best, maybe second best. He honestly gets some pretty good sculpts, so, what can you do? But I really like how this one is like charging forward with the shield and flying and everything. It looks so cool. And another really cool thing about this one is it's really 2-in-1. So you get 2 different characters kind of for the price of one. Because he's a starter set character, he has 2 essentially different dials for 2 different point values. The same dial, but different effects on all of his specials and traits and stuff. So let's start with his basic version. Both of them have the Avengers team ability, Avengers, Defenders, Shield, and Soldier keywords. And the basic card at 50 points, his special defense power gives him energy shield deflection, and when an opposing character attacks and misses after resolutions, you can move him up to 2 squares. That's pretty cool. You don't usually get to move on your opponent's turn, so being able to, reposition after they miss an attack is great. Having a 9 movement hypersonic with flight and 4 range double target, 11 precision, some leadership with a 3 damage, just great stats overall. And a pretty decently long dial for, 7 clicks for the 50 points is pretty great. So not too bad there. And then where he really shines, I think, is the advanced version for 75 points. He gets a trait, leading by example. Other friendly characters within range and line of fire modify damage +1. That's awesome. Just straight up +1 damage on everybody within his range of 4 squares in line of fire. You can also up his range too if you need to reach characters that are further away. So, perplex up his range and you can up somebody's damage that's 5 squares away. That's really cool. And then especially his special defense power, energy shield deflection, and super senses. And when he uses super senses, instead roll 2d6 and choose 1 to be the result. So you essentially have 2 chances at his super sense roll, and that is just amazing in my opinion. Again, same stats and powers, still solid for 75 points, just has a much better defense power, and he also is upping the damage of all your friendlies, so he becomes more of a team player just for being a few more points. So I think both versions are pretty good. I think the sculpt is 10 out of 10. There's not really much else I could say about this one. I think his whole dial is good either way, so for all those reasons, he's coming in at number 3. Coming in at number 2 for Sam Cap, for me personally, is the rare version from Captain America and the Avengers. Now, the sculpt may look familiar, however, the paint job is slightly different. If you pay close attention, he has the same sculpt as the super rare from Nick Fury Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., however, it is painted slightly differently in a few areas, so his suit looks a little bit different. It's a weird thing they did in that set, even though it was like way after Nick Fury Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they used a few of the sculpts from that set, kind of carried him over. I don't know why specifically, but it worked. It was fine. They gave him a new paint job and everything. And honestly, I was just a big fan of this Captain America. He's got Avengers, S.H.I.E.L.D., and Soldier keywords. He's got the Avengers team ability again. He's got the Assembled Avengers trait, which I was notorious for forgetting every time. I played all these Assembled Avengers characters so many times, and it wasn't until the last few times I started playing them, before I started moving on to other characters, where I started remembering this trait. It's a really good trait, though. Once per turn, when Captain America hits, after resolutions, roll a d6 on a 5 or 6. If you have 3 or more friendly characters with the Avengers keyword, remove an action token from Captain America, or give an action token to a hit character, or if you have 6 or more such characters, you can do both. So keep tokens off him or keep tokens on opposing characters. And then you also have the Living Legend trait, which is honestly one of the main reasons this guy is so high up on my list. It says, the first time this game, Captain America would be KO'd. Instead, turn him to his last non-KO click, then roll a d6 and heal him equal to half the result. Protected Pulse Wave. So, he gets to save himself from being KO'd once. It's kind of like a pseudo stop click that adds a few extra clicks of health to him. And then his special defense power is super senses and toughness, and modified defense +2 if he moved during your last turn. And if we take a look at his dial here, we can see that he does have a full dial of running shot and charge. And he's got that special defense power on all but his first click, where he gets the impervious. So as long as he keeps moving, keeps running, shotting, or charging on somebody, he's pretty much going to be a permanent +2 defense, except the turns he might have to clear. He's got a 6 range double target, 10 running shot, 11 attack to start with. And with that Assembled Avengers trait, taking tokens off or adding tokens to hit characters. Avengers team ability is even better now, bumping him up to a 12 for most of those. And like I said, that Living Legend trait is huge, because he may look like he's only 6 clicks, but in reality, he's going to be, being KO'd and then going back to click 6, healing at least 1 to 3 clicks. So he could end up going all the way back to click number 3, and then you have to do like 4 more damage to him to actually get the KO. So that is pretty insane. He's got a lot of longevity there. And, if he moved, he'd have that +2 defense, so it would be pretty hard to hit him, and the super senses and everything. So he's just a real nuisance to deal with. And yeah, he's just awesome. So I think for all those reasons, he's coming in at number 2 for me. Now, as always, before we get to my number 1 pick, I have an honorable mention to get to. I wish we had a few more to look at, but we only have 1 more. That's right, there's only 6 versions of Sam as Captain America in the game currently, which is kind of my minimum for doing a top 5 video. I'm sure we're going to get more, especially now that he's like officially Captain America in the MCU and everything. But taking a look at the common from the Disney Plus set, he just has Avengers and Soldier keywords, and he starts with a trait, Steve's Legacy, for +5 points. He can start the game equipped with Captain America's shield. This was, of course, before they changed the rules that you could just, pay the points to assign equipments and start with them anyway, because Captain America's shield is only 5 points. And if you don't know what it does, it gives you energy shield deflection, and if they can already use it, they modify defense +3 instead of +2. So that's not too bad, especially since he has energy shield deflection and force blast traded. And then taking a look at his dial here, he's got a 12 movement with charge, 11 attack, 18 with some willpower, and 3 damage with some enhancement. 6 click long dial for only 45 points. He does have a 4 range, so he can make some range attacks. He can fly and everything. This guy was actually really good with the common Winter Soldier from the same set. They made a pretty awesome little duo of common figures. But yeah, 12 movement charge is just ridiculous nowadays. Honestly, you could even just slap a motorcycle on him now for the 15 points, give him some running shot. He'd have an insanely long long reach then, or just give him the cap shield for that extra +1, why not? But yeah, it might seem weird, like why does he have a full dial of charge if his main defense is energy shield deflection? Well, don't forget he also has Force Blast as part of that trait, and that gives you knockback. So you could charge into somebody and knock them back, and then, you know, hopefully they have to shoot you and deal with their +3 defense from range. So honestly, he's a pretty decent low common figure, nothing too crazy. Now, without further ado, let's get to my number 1 pick. All right, and flying in at number 1, we have, you guessed it, the Chase Captain America from the Disney Plus set. This dude just looks so freaking awesome with the big metal wings and the shield and everything. So yeah, if you don't think this is the best sculpt, I don't know. I could see the one from the starter set that's like charging forward with the shield flying, but this one, the wings just look so great. He looks so awesome, and that blue base just works so well, especially for him. It's great. So then taking a look at his card, Avengers, Celebrity, and Soldier keywords. He's got this awesome trait that he can start the game with the Captain America shield and or Red Wing equipped, and he may have both equipped at the same time. So you don't have to pay for either of them. You know, you get 2 free equipment and can be equipped with both of them. Is amazingly powerful, especially because of that Red Wing equipment. I think is really great. We'll take a look at that in a second, but his other trait here gives him Defend and Willpower, and when an adjacent friendly character replaces their defense value with Captain America's, that character can use Toughness for that attack. So he does have pretty good defense values. For his highest point line at 125 points, he has a 19. Otherwise, for 75, he has 18, and at 50, he is a 17. But I mean, defending them up, even if they already have an 18 or whatever, still can just give them toughness anyway. You can still say you're defending and just give them toughness. So he's kind of just handing out free toughness to everybody next to him. For any actual attacks. It wouldn't really work for like poison or anything like that because you wouldn't be defending for that. But it's still a really awesome effect, and the, you know, traded willpower also is really good. Then on his special movement power, he has Force Blast and Hypersonic Speed and Stealth. And when Captain America uses hypersonic speed and hits with a close attack after resolutions, you may place a hit character adjacent to himself, then use Force Blast as free. So that's amazing. You just run in there with hypersonic, punch somebody, run back, place them next to him anywhere, and then free Force Blast them. And actually the cool thing is, you know, he gets the knockback from the Force Blast, so you can actually run in there with the hypersonic, hit them, knock them back, deal them a knockback damage, and then he can run away, you know, doesn't have to break away now, he's no longer adjacent, but then he still can place them adjacent to himself, and then Force Blast and knock them back and do some knockback damage again. So that's amazing. Now that I think about it, when this guy came out, I feel like we didn't have knockback damage. I think it was a little bit after the set we got the knockback damage back. So yeah, a lot of free knockback damage is great, but regardless of that, you could also Force Blast them back into your team and then, you know, set them up in a little kill box where your whole team just kind of swarms them and finishes them off. So he's really, really powerful for doing that. And, you know, he just has so many powers here. Take a look at the back of his card. He does have Avengers Initiative, so he can see through hindering, which is really awesome. He's got a 6 range double target. So yeah, he's got a 10 hypersonic, 12 attack precision, 19 invincible, 4 damage, close combat expert. This dude's running up in there, hitting you for 5 damage up close, knocking you into a wall, and then dragging you back and knocking you into something else again. I think he's very playable at 125 because he will have, you know, energy shield on top of that, giving him +2 from range, and that's if he's not in stealth, because he also has stealth. You know, he's got defending your team up to a 19, giving them toughness when he does so. It's just insane what this guy can actually do. And then I actually played him on my first ever Worlds team for 75 points. I played him with the Chase, Sicarian Iron Man, Chase Scarlet Witch, the common Scarlet Witch to carry them around. And I think that might have been it. I feel like there was one other character on the team. I can't remember now. But yeah, it was a really fun team. And his defend actually came in handy quite a bit. You know, the willpower came up. At 75, he also has leadership. So he's leadershiping tokens off characters. Yeah, he was just a really solid character all around at 75. And I think, you know, he's not as good at 50, but he's still playable. I would just, you know, nowadays, it's a little bit of a short dial. You just running shot, penetrating blast. You can at least see through hindering. You got some super senses and energy shield, and you get the free Red Wing as well. So, I mean, he does still do a lot for 50 points. It's just kind of like, if they get through the energy shield and the super senses, he's probably getting one-shotted. But yeah, that's why I think he's a little better at 75, because you get that awesome hypersonic, and he's just really amazing at 125. He's such a beast at the highest point value. So again, just taking a quick look at the equipment you get for free. The Captain America shield, again, energy shield or energy shield +1 if you already have it. But the Red Wing is an amazing equipment that says free, once per game, generate a Red Wing bystander, and then free, remove a Red Wing light object held by this character from the game. If you do this turn, this character may activate this free action to generate the Red Wing bystander regardless of the once per game restriction. So you actually have to take a look at the back here to kind of understand that. It shows the trait which Red Wing has. Don't touch Red Wing. When Red Wing is KO'd, generate a Red Wing light object in the square it last occupied. So basically, you can run over there, pick up that light object, and then take the free action to make him all over again. You kind of just pick him up, you know, repair him or something real quick, and just send him back out there. And he is pretty nasty. He's got 7 movement hypersonic, 10 attack, precision strike, 1 damage, 17 super senses, and some outwit, and some flight and tiny size, 4 range. So, I mean, yeah, he's zipping around, you know, pinging stuff with precision strike, outwitting things. And it's a free action to generate this. So even after he hypersonics in there and smacks everything, then you just take a free action to drop this thing. It can outwit something and ping something for 1 damage with precision. So it's a really, really great equipment. It's actually one of my favorite equipments of all time. And the fact that you get it for free with the Captain America shield on this guy is pretty nuts. And yeah, like I said, this dude just does so much. He's got so many powers and abilities going on here. It's pretty easy to lose track of everything he can actually do. He's got one of the best sculpts for the character, hands down, and just clear-cut winner for the #1 Sam Wilson Captain America. All right, you guys, that does it for this top 5 list. Make sure to let me know all your thoughts and opinions about it in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to smash that like button and click that subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos. But if you'd like to help support the channel even more, check the links in the description for the Patreon, where you can see your name here in the credits with all these other amazing people. And for as little as $1 a month, you get entered into my monthly giveaways. So check that out if that interests you. That's going to do it for this video, you guys. Thanks again so much for watching. Until next time, this has been Heroclix Headquarters, signing off.